Welcome to the Virtual Women's Forum, a groundbreaking initiative empowering women across generations. This collaboration between WSD Women and the East African community, women's intergenerational dialogue paves the way for transformative connections. Our mission is to unite senior women leaders with young visionaries for mentorship and impactful dialogue. Centered on the theme, the role of digital technologies and social media in enhancing women's leadership and empowerment, we aim to inspire change. Join us as we explore barriers and best practices in business, technology, media, politics, and academia. Together, we foster a future where women lead fearlessly, empowered by digital tools and networks. Through shared experiences and wisdom, we cultivate a space for growth and innovation. Join us in this transformative journey and let's shape the future of women's leadership together.
First, I want to say how grateful I am to be here with you today, having a space like this, a platform where women can come together to share our stories, learn from one another, and lift each other up. It's powerful. When I look back on my journey, it has been a collection of experiences that led me to where I am today. As a healthcare professional, I've had the privilege of working across multiple countries because of my husband's job. I spent many years practicing in the US, but I've also worked in Switzerland, Japan, and Africa, collaborating with local teams, serving communities, and learning from the richness of each culture. I've been a US certified medical provider for over 17 years, caring for patients in a wide variety of settings. But a few years ago, I decided to pursue a passion I had carried since the beginning of my career. I took a bold leap and started a medical NGO with the mission of bringing sustainable, preventative, and primary care to underserved communities in Africa. Since then, we have reached over 1,000 adolescent girls in the past year, providing reusable pads and educational talks on menstrual hygiene and cervical cancer awareness. We have treated and cared for more than 700 patients during medical outreaches, and most recently we launched a week-long training program for medical providers from 8 different states in Nigeria, where we taught the latest evidence-based practice on topics such as pediatrics, art-based medicine, proper antibiotic use, mental health, and primary care, to name a few, equipping and motivating each provider with a new skill or tool to better their community. This journey has not been without struggle. I had no business background, no idea where to start, just this passion I knew I wanted to pursue. And my passion for these communities was stronger than my fear, which is why I was able to do and go forward. It was not easy. I asked questions, I learned as I went, I made mistakes and still do, and I pushed forward. I made it a point as well to share my passion, projects, and ideas with anyone who would listen. I remember someone telling me that this was important because you never know what doors can open up. And she was right. This openness led to incredible connections, including a mentor who has helped me take my first steps. She was also a provider starting her NGO in Sierra Leone, and just those conversations that were very real and candid helped me not feel so alone, but at the same time, none of us succeed alone. We grow stronger by learning and supporting one another. So I was really grateful for that experience. Many of the questions that I thought were stupid and almost afraid to ask were the exact questions that they had all had at some point during their journey. So step by step, I built an organization that is now making a tangible difference in people's lives. And to me, that makes every challenge worth it. I grew up in a culture where women were often seen as caretakers of the home, while men were the primary breadwinners. While progress has been made in the US, this dynamic is still very common, and I'm sure in elsewhere around the world too, as I've seen it firsthand, in some cultures even more apparent. And it can work beautifully for some families, but for me, I knew I didn't want to lose that part of myself that was passionate about medicine and had a calling to serve. For a long time, I believed that my path was limited. I had 3 young boys, and I often felt guilty for wanting a little bit more, guilty for dreaming of leadership roles beyond my home, things I never imagined I would take on but had interest in doing. I still wrestle with that guilt at times, but over the years I've learned that it's not about choosing between being present for my family and pursuing my calling. It's about finding balance. I can deeply love my family and still lead in my profession. Women can be both nurturers and leaders. We do not have to choose between the two. And I'm also deeply grateful for my support system, my husband, children, God, my family, and all of those influences that have made this balance possible, and those that I lean on in tough times. And so I want to be honest, though the barriers haven't disappeared, gender equality remains a reality. Women in the US still earn less than men on average, and they're underrepresented in leadership and face the motherhood penalty that can slow career advancement. And yes, there are times I still face doubts, very often, and invisible ceilings. But here's what I've learned. Leadership doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities or rejecting parts of who you are. It means leading fearlessly in the midst of real life. As a mother, daughter, sister, friend, professional, whatever it is, every woman has her own story, her own timing, and her own version of leadership. For some, it may mean running a company or an NGO, leading an international project, or pioneering research. For others, it may mean advocating for their children, building a strong local community, or being a voice of change in the workplace. Every path is valid, and each one moves us closer to a world where women can fully thrive. My challenge for us today is this: don't let fear or social expectations hold you back. Too often we convince ourselves that we are not ready, not qualified, or not capable, and trust me, this comes in my head all the time. It's not just in the beginning, it's constant. It's something that we are working with all the time. And so those are the thoughts and the voices that I want you to set aside, because when in reality, we are simply afraid of just stepping into the unknown. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means moving forward despite it. So every time we dare to do something we thought we couldn't, whether it's speaking up, applying for a leadership role, starting a new project, or saying yes to an opportunity, we expand what is possible for the woman who comes after us. When we stop waiting to be perfect or have everything figured out, we give ourselves permission to grow. In fact, it is often in these challenges that we grow the most. What drives me most is the belief that when women rise, entire communities rise with them. Empowered women are not just leaders, they're change makers, bridge builders, trailblazers, future shapers. And so our stories have the power to inspire others to rise too. The barriers remain, yes, but so do the opportunities, and every day is an invitation to choose courage over fear, vision over limitation, and collaboration over competition. So here's my takeaway for you today. Don't wait for permission to lead. Step into the space that you've been given, use your unique gifts, and let your journey light the way for someone else. Because true empowerment is contagious. When one woman dares to rise, she makes it easier for the next woman to do the same. So I thank you so much for allowing me to share my story with you today, and thank you for the work that each one of you do to inspire, lead, and lift up other women.